What's going on, you crazy kids? Zach Evanesh here with Underground Strength Show, undergroundstrength.tv. Taking a quick trip to pick up the wife and kids some food. And I've got an awesome question. Comes from my main man, Dan O'Cone, and Coach Shep out in Freehold. This is a great question and one that's going to get me a little bit fired up and be sure to increase the amount of haters I get. So here's the question. It says, Zach, how can we incorporate strength training into our wrestling practices without sacrificing wrestling practice? Which is, I love this question. So, pardon all the angle changes while driving. Number one, here is the main problem. I'd say 5%, maybe 10% of the kids on the wrestling team are truly going through a committed off-season strength and conditioning program. So what happens? They show up in season. They don't know how to do a push-up. They don't know how to do a squat or a deadlift. They can't do a good pull-up. They do half reps. In essence, they show up unprepared. So it starts cutting into practice because now we have to teach these kids how to do a push-up. We have to teach varsity wrestlers that when they do a pull-up, it means do a full range of motion. Get your chin over the bar. When you do a deadlift, don't round your back. When you do a squat, don't collapse the knees. These wrestlers do one thing in the off season, the majority of them. They go to a wrestling club. Guess who else is going to a wrestling club? Everybody else. So these wrestlers and myself as a strength coach, we need the support from you guys as wrestlers saying, hey, guys, you're wrestling all the time. So is everybody else. It comes down to a point where how much more wrestling can a wrestler do? Why aren't we getting them stronger, more explosive, better stamina, and developing greater mental toughness and confidence in themselves, which in essence, we're going to make them more efficient and more effective in everything they do on the mat. So, wrestlers, they think that they could train in their backyards and their garages and get the best of it. That's like trying to wrestle with your neighbor in your basement thinking you're going to get top-notch coaching. You guys go to experts for your wrestling technique. You need to do the same thing for strength and conditioning. So when they show up in shape during the season, now we don't have to teach them a million things. We can get into the weight room and say, all right, guys, this is what we're doing. We've got 15 minutes to get it done. And let me tell you something. Some of our most successful wrestlers were training with me with warm-up included 25 minutes. And it's because we didn't have to teach things. They knew the things that we had to get done. We trained optimally, and that allowed us to maximize our time, maximize the results. Otherwise, you guys are basically starting over. It's like trying to train them and teach them a brand new skill that's foreign to them. So, wrestling coaches and my boys Dan O'Cone and Shep, you got to get your guys over to an expert in strength and conditioning. So when they show up, they get it done. You guys are wrestling coaches. That's your forte. If you're not experienced in that strength and conditioning realm and you don't know exactly what to do, then shit, either you got to learn it or it's like you got to refer them out. That's exactly what we do when somebody's legitimately injured. I don't try and pretend that I'm a physical therapist or a doctor. I make a connection with an expert and I refer out. So you wrestlers, when you think about reasons why you've lost, it comes down to basically two reasons. Number one, technically, the other guy was better than you. Number two, he somehow, some way edged you out in the realm of physical performance. He was too strong for you. He out-conditioned you. He was too fast and too explosive for you. You gassed out. He didn't gas out. He was strong. He got you in a double leg. He finished that takedown to win by 2 points or 1 point. He was too explosive. He escaped in those final seconds when you had to hold him down. You weren't strong enough. He was stronger than you and more explosive. So, we don't need to sacrifice wrestling. We need wrestlers to be told what to do. If a coach doesn't say, hey, you got to go with this guy or this is the program to follow, they won't do it. Same thing goes for their parents. If a parent says, we're too busy, the season is getting us too busy, For example, when our wrestling season started, the first 2 weeks, kids get out of practice late. The parents freaked out and they said, oh, we're not going to be able to continue in-season training once a week, 45 minutes a day. Guess what? I know how it is to be a coach. In the beginning of the season, you guys are busy. You're trying to get a lot of stuff done. The first match is 3 weeks after literally opening practice. It gets hectic. And if the parents say, Johnny, it's over, the kids will do that. If a coach says, Johnny, you need to get on this lifting program, the kids will do that too. So we don't need to sacrifice anything. Training is year-round. That's the bottom line. We can't try to teach these kids how to lift in season and think that we can get it done quickly, effectively, and efficiently if they're completely inexperienced. So we need to start working together better as coaches. That's the bottom line. And I'll tell you what, I've contacted many coaches in different sports, and I see teams that have a losing record. For years, year after year, they have a losing record. I find that so unfair to the kids. It pisses me off that those coaches don't say, team, you are all going to this wrestling club and you are all going to this strength coach. I will get all of you there and I will connect with this coach and see if we could put together a package deal. You want to know how many coaches contact me about that? 0. Coaches, we need you guys to give everything you got to these kids. I'm ready to do it, and I'm sure there's other coaches out there in your area ready to do it, so let's make it happen. There's no sacrificing of anything. It's all for the kids. That's the bottom line. I'm Zach Evanesh from the Underground Strength Gym, undergroundstrength.tv, and Underground Strength Gym in Edison and Manasquan. Check us out, undergroundstrengthgym.com. I love this stuff. I'm sure people are going to be mad at me, but hey, that's the way we roll. Peace out. Later.